All right, so a little while ago, I made a video on Blaire White where I impugned her for making a video where she stated over and over and over again that a professional weightlifter who transitioned, became a trans woman, um, was competing against cisgender women. And you know, Blaire White would post all these pictures of like big muscular, and the trans woman, I forget her name at this moment, is very muscular. Um, Janae, Janae, right? I think, yeah. Janae, yeah. Um, Janae Marie Kroc. What a fucking bomber name, by the way. Janae Marie Kroc. That's just, I don't know. It's very impactful. Feel like I'm saying it like out of an anime wiki, you know what I mean? But like a JoJo kind of thing. But anyway, um, the anyway, Blaire White made this video where she said over and over that Janae was competing against cis women, and Janae is very, very muscular. But no, Janae is not. Janae has only ever competed against men, and the whole video was super duper manipulatively edited. At one point, the video actually had a screenshot of Janae from Instagram, and it took the top half of a big text post, but the bottom half was Janae saying, I won't be competing against women, I'll be competing against men. So Blaire, let's be perfectly clear here. Blaire White knew 100% that Janae was only interested in competing against men with her large and impressive muscles. Blaire White knew 100%. Blaire White deliberately omitted that information because Blaire White wanted to make a nice video about how another trans is bad and how actually Blaire White is the one good trans and how Blaire White is the one prettiest trans and all the other transes are bad, but Blaire White is good, and that's why you should watch Blaire White and not the other ones. Yeah, here we go. We've got the oh, okay, Blaire White is actually taking the video down. Hold on. If I type in Blaire White Janae, can we get the thumbnail for the original one? No, we're getting a lot of videos making fun of Blaire White, however, for Blaire White's terrible, terrible behavior. Whatever the case may be, the whole video was I'm the good tran, she's the bad tran. But there was a problem though. People actually took notice of Blaire White's terrible behavior. Blaire White has always run the take that she's pro-trans. She's a trans medicalist, so she does believe that the physical transition sort of legitimizes your womanhood, which is because Blaire White has a penis, so I don't know why you would ever believe that, because there's the counter argument to that line of logic is so easy if you genuinely want to believe that that's what defines a person's womanhood. But anyway, Blaire White does this all the time in her videos, where there will be like a trans woman, but the trans woman will do something bad, and the whole video will be like 20% about the bad thing the trans woman does, and 80% about how Blaire White is prettier than the trans woman. You know? And that's kind of the pattern for like every video she's ever done, which is great. But one problem with this one, Janae actually responded to Blaire White's video, made an Insta post saying, hey, Blaire, you're kind of, sort of, totally fucking lying about me, which is super cringe, not good. And people took notice, and Blaire White hoped to wait it out, baby. Blaire White waited day after day after day after day. She had just hit 1 million subs. After day after day after day. No commentary, nothing, ignoring all the YouTube comments, the Twitter messages, the big call-out videos, all of it. But eventually, finally, after, like 2 weeks or something, Blaire White finally came out with a Twitter apology and deleted the video. I'm sorry. Hey everyone, in a recent video, I made the error of assuming and stating that a trans athlete named Janae competes against both men and women in her sport, as she made clear that is false. Unlike many other trans athletes, she insists on competing only against men. I like that again too, gotta reaffirm the premise right here, you know? Unlike many other trans athletes, it can't be enough to just apologize. You have to slide the whole fucking message back in there. For this and any other detail I got wrong about her story, I'm very sorry. Keep in mind, for Blaire White to have clipped in a segment of an Instagram post where Janae specifically said she only wants to compete against men, but leave the segment where she said that out, indicates very clearly that Blaire White knew exactly what the fuck she was doing. There was absolutely no accident behind any of this. I made the mistake of not doing enough research and taking rumors about her at face value, which is something I complain about happening to me. I want to be very... and then she misses the space between the period and the I, fucking up the kerning. Unforgivable. I want to be very clear that this was a fuck up on my part. I take full and total responsibility for any... oh, and 2 spaces here, so that's where the space went. For any negativity that she's experienced because of that. I also want to be clear that while many are running with a narrative that it was intentional deception on my part, that's just not true. It was due to less than thorough research, nothing more, nothing less. I cannot tell you how much of a lie that is. I mean, it's unbelievable how much of a lie that is. But, you know. I've reached out personally to apologize for the error and have deleted the video, feel pretty terrible, and have decided to take a break from social media and YouTube. The grind of doing content for almost 5 years and putting immense pressure on myself to constantly release things has resulted in me being sloppy with this last video. I don't want to come back to doing mistakes. Yeah. So now the victim narrative at the end here, you know, it's really hard, the pressure on me, when she could have responded to this 2 weeks ago. Keep in mind, like, Janae made the Instagram post, I think within a day of Blaire's video being put out. So Blaire White could have done this a day after, and I think that would have spoken a little bit to Blaire's sincerity. In fact, I'll actually say this because I'd like to think that I have some kind of like standard for for accepting forgiveness. If Blaire White had deleted the video like a day after and put out the apology, responding to Janae, that sort of thing, I would think, okay, Blaire still probably lied about not knowing that Janae was only competing against men, but all right, at least this was a somewhat sincere, reflexive disavowal of bad behavior. We've all done bad things and kind of thought like and then like pulled back the moment we got a little bit of pushback on it. But Blaire didn't do that. Blaire waited. What was the threshold in Blaire's mind, do you think? How many tweets, how many comments, how many lost subs? How many thousands of lost subs? She waited. She had her fingers tapping together. You know, I'll just pretend it's not really happening. I'll just, tap, 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 tap. Waiting it out until, eventually, it was too much. The, I really do hate Blaire White. I've gotten criticism from people who legitimately believe that Blaire White is some sort of misunderstood good person who people shit on for no reason, which is extraordinary to me. I guess when I look at Blaire White's videos, it's really, really easy for me to immediately see how terrible and transphobic she is and how clearly she panders to the grift of, like, I'm the only good trans person. And it's very easy. It's very apparent to me. I just don't know how other people don't see it, or if they're willfully avoiding that information, or if they're simping. I genuinely don't know, but yeah. Whatever the case may be, terrible, terrible fucking apology. People aren't buying it either. This is an incognito window open because Blaire White blocked me on Twitter like a year ago. So there's no preference here in what's being sorted to the top. You're over. Then we got positive. Didn't you also say James Charles was an abuser? Okay, some simping here. That's how an apology is done, and then with 3 times the likes, it's been 3 weeks. This is not how an apology is done. 3 weeks! Man, finally, good lord, that took a while. This is a couple weeks too late, homie. Now I gotta go and double-check every video of yours I happen to like. If you want to have a career in media, you need to handle it with professionalism, which includes swift and accurate retractions when you made an error. This is a fun comment right here, but I wish people would be open about the fact that, like, the evidence points to Blaire White having known it was a lie all along. But this is good, though. This is what you want to do when people like this fuck up, you know? When this person right here is like, okay, well, now I have to go and reassess your other videos. That's how you break the spell a little bit. There are content creators you like and appreciate. Some of Blaire White's videos are unironically fairly funny. If you ignore the fact that they're making spectacle out of mental illness, Blaire White's videos on Jessica and Eve are amusing if you don't pick up on the constant... If you don't get annoyed by the relentless fucking I'm prettier than you and that's the argument that I'm going with sort of thing, there is like an underlying entertainment value that I can imagine like trashy, like Gossip Girl types would enjoy, or incredibly obnoxious gay men. But it's and if you pull back from that, and I guess take a second to reflect after realizing that Blaire White does some really crappy stuff, and then you go back over the content and you think, oh wow, wait, this is all kind of shit. That's good. I think that's a good process. So prayers and blessings to all of the noble people out there who will be reevaluating their opinion on Blaire White following this terrible, terrible behavior. Good luck. Though in all likelihood, this just means that the good people will unsubscribe from her channel, and the only people remaining will be more aggressive conservative types who don't give a fuck and just want to see trans women get shit on. What are you gonna do, folks? Hey, it's tough.